Hi everybody, let's talk a little bit about pistol training and in particular dry fire exercises. To quote Patrick McNamara, who dry fires? The best shooters on the planet do. It is mundane but necessary. And you may ask, how much of your training can be done by dry firing? Almost all of it. The key to successful dry firing is quality versus quantity. And here's another quote by Kyle Lamb. Dry firing is the practice of practicing with your unloaded weapon or training weapon in order to get familiar with certain techniques before wasting ammo. I say wasting because if all you ever do is live fire, you will not notice some of the negative nuances that dry firing may help to eliminate. Now, to make certain that your weapon skills continue to develop and not deteriorate, you should integrate dry firing exercises into your weekly routine. Now, I've personally found a way to do just that by using two essential tools. Number one, a computer-based program called L.A.S.R, which stands for Laser Activated Shot Reporter, and that's made by Centrolution. And number two, the SIRT training pistol, which is essentially a pistol that only shoots a laser, and the pistol is made by Next Level Training. Now, I'll break down all the individual components in order as we go along. First, in order to use a laser software, you'll need a webcam. I mounted mine on the ceiling so that it could be entirely out of the way. I then use cable management channels to feed the line back to my main computer. Again, you can purchase the L.A.S.R software at Centrolutions.com. Now, after downloading and installing, open the program and it should look like this. Now, on the bottom left corner, you'll see these icons here. You'll first need to left click on the arrow or play button in order to activate your webcam. And here's my activated webcam. Now, as you see here, you can and should tighten the focus of your work area by using the zoom sliders on the edge of the screen window, as I'm doing here. This makes it much easier later on to create accurate reaction zones. Also, as you can see, I have a dedicated target area. Now, the large silhouette target here was cut from a typical range target. I then used spray adhesive and glued it directly to some foam board. And you can get foam board at any Staples or Office Supply Center. Finally, I used a box knife to cut out the target. Now, the smaller targets were simply downloaded from the internet using Google Images. I adhered them to foam board in the same way. Now, being smaller, they simulate targets that are farther away, and so they're a little harder to acquire, even though the distance from the pistol to the wall is only 3 yards exactly. The bullseyes are 2.5 inches here, 2 inches here, 2.25 inches here, and again 2.25 inches here. Now let's get to the software itself. In order to create reaction zones using the L.A.S.R program, in the bottom left corner you'll see the shapes icons here. Left click on the shapes icon to display all the different shape options. I'm going to use the circle, but before creating any reaction zones, make sure that this lock icon is unlocked, which it is here. Okay, here's how it's done. As you can see, it's very easy to simply draw out a zone anywhere on the screen. Simply left click, hold, and draw out. Now, if it's not perfect, don't worry. You can reduce, expand, and adjust the shape as needed as long as the lock icon is unlocked. Here I'm drawing out my reaction zones around the two bullseyes on the large silhouette target. Now, once you're done, press the lock icon to lock the zones down. On the upper right-hand corner, find the icon with the gears. Now left click on it. Among all the other options, here I can choose the preparatory commands, and I'm going to choose shooter ready, stand by. You can also choose the type of hit tone, and for that I will choose gunshot 3 with metal impact. And I really like this tone because it gives my training sessions a much more realistic feeling of hitting actual steel targets. Now for this session, I'm only going to be using 2 reaction zones, bullseye number 1 and bullseye number 2. Now over here in the bottom right hand screen, there's some more icons. For the mode, I'm going to choose call targets, which means that the software will randomly call out either target number 1 or target number 2. But how many times will it call out either target 1 or 2? That all depends on the shots to call setting, and so I'll set that to 5 shots. So the computer will now generate a 5-shot random mix between reaction zones number 1 and number 2. Now we're all set to go here, but before we do that, let me just very quickly explain my gear, the layout and organization, as well as the SIRT pistol itself. Okay, as you can see, I conveniently hung my high-speed gear battle belt on a simple garden hose hanger. Yes, that's right. right, and it functions extremely well for this very purpose. And at Ace Hardware for $8, you can't go wrong. On the belt itself, I run a G-Code OSH holster. Now, realize that the SIRT training pistol is modeled after a Glock 17, and so a Glock 17 OSH holster from G-Code fits almost too perfect. A very, very snug fit. So way to go, G-Code. Now, I also have a double taco pistol pouch attached to G-Code hardware. It stretches to accommodate any size magazine, which saves me the big hassle of buying Kydex mag carriers for every single pistol I own. More than that, though, the RTI wheel seen here gives me a lot of other options. Simply place the RTI MOLLE wheel on your battle belt, and the RTI adapter attaches to any number of pouches, as you see here. Now I can switch out pouches according to need, and so how I configure my belt really depends on what particular class I'm attending. Here's all pistol pouches on the belt for a pistol-only course, a total of 5 mags, 1 in the weapon and 4 on the belt. Here's all carbine pouches for a carbine-only course. That's a single pouch in the front and a double pouch in the rear for a total of 4 mags, 1 in the weapon and 3 on the belt. And of course, here's a combined pistol and carbine mag layout. I even modified these shot shell caddies with an RTI adapter as well. So for shotgun courses, I can carry in the following manner. Again, it's entirely contingent on the requirements of a particular class. Okay, let's look at the SIRT training pistol itself, which again is modeled after the Glock 17. As you can see, I modified it by stippling it in many places. The grip is therefore solid and helps me achieve a repeatable, proper hand position. In addition, the trigger on the SIRT pistol is also adjustable, so you can somewhat approach the feel of your own pistol's actual trigger. Okay, now that the reaction zones are already drawn, the actual laser from the SIRT pistol here will trigger a hit sound whenever it lands inside those zones. So if I shoot around the reaction zone, nothing will be heard, but within the zone itself, a sound is heard, as you can see here. Okay, now let's put all this gear and technology together. Again, I have drawn 2 reaction zones as they are here. The preparatory command is set to shooter ready, standby. The hit tone is set to gunshot 3 with metal impact. The mode is set to call targets, and the shots to call parameter is set to 5 shots. Let's go ahead and try a pistol drill.
Shooter ready, standby. 1, 1, 2, 1, 1.
Okay, let's see that one more time.
1, 2, 1, 1.
Now, if you have a wireless keyboard around, you can reset this program between each round of fire without using a mouse. I do this by keeping the keyboard right by me, and after each round of fire, I simply press right arrow, and that moves you over to the clear button here. Now, press enter and you're clear to start again. Press left arrow and you're back over the start button. And now you're ready to go again. Simply press enter and a new round begins. Okay, folks, there you go. With these available tools and with a little ingenuity, anyone can safely practice dry firing in the comfort of their own homes. Not only that, but your skills can and will improve dramatically. But let me be clear. Dry firing is never meant to replace live fire. It only complements and enhances live fire effectiveness by allowing you to hone your technique. Both dry and live fire are 2 parts to a whole, and they work symbiotically and in tandem with each other. Once again, the Laser program software by Centrolution and the SIRT training pistol by Next Level Training. Okay, this is Analytical Survival saying stay safe and well trained, my brothers and sisters.